Hello everyone, welcome to today's online session. I'm your host, Eliana from China, and joining us today is an incredible guest, Anna Pacheva from Bulgaria. Her Chinese name is Shenming. Hello, Shenming. Could you say
Hello，
hi? Could you say hi to our audience in both Chinese and English, please?
你好，大家好。
大家
Hello，
好。
Hello。
Hello. Today we're introducing a book titled I Grew Up in China. This book interviews with individuals from diverse countries and educational backgrounds, all with exceptional fluency in Mandarin and a deep understanding of Chinese culture. As the title of the book says, many of them found themselves in China at a young age, grew up here, and eventually became captivated by the charm of this country. Our guest today is no exception. She will share her unique stories with us. During our conversation, audience can post any questions for our guest in the chat. We will address those questions during the Q&A session at the end of our event. To begin, could you give us a brief self-introduction, please, Shenming?
Yes, my name is Anna Pesheva, and I grew up in China. I was in China more than 7 years, starting from 1987 till 19, when it was till 1991, 94, 94, yes. And I had a wonderful time. I had many friends, both Chinese and foreigners, and China gave me so much to my life that maybe I will be never thankful enough to China for everything that it gave me.
Yeah, it's quite a long time, right? And
Mhm.
now let's officially begin with our questions. The first one I
Okay.
want to ask you is, Bulgaria is an interesting country where Western and Eastern culture encounter and integrate. When you came to China at a young age, did you encounter any language barriers? How did you overcome them?
Well, in the first 2 years of my life in China, I was a high school student. I was
Mm-hmm,
studying at the Russian high school in
mm-hmm,
Beijing. And at that time, I didn't speak Chinese at all. I couldn't understand anything besides some small, easy words.
mm-hmm.
But after that, after I graduated and I went to study in the Beijing Language University, of course, my life completely changed because I was already having so many communications with many Chinese of all kind of people, and that really improved my language a lot. For me, the colloquial Chinese, if you want to improve, it's very important to talk as much as you want, as you can, and with the local people, with the Chinese people, and even with the foreign students who study in China. Maybe many of them prefer to speak in English, but for me at that time, I couldn't speak English very well. And I insisted they to be all speaking Chinese. That also was a good way of learning Chinese. Also, I really enjoyed watching the Chinese TV serials. For example, in the 80s, if you also remember, in the end of the 80s, very two great Chinese TV serials were
Mm-hmm.
on the
It's
TV,
very
like
interesting, right?
COT, for example,
Yeah.
Journey to the West, and also Dream to the in the Red Chamber, Holloman. So that also gave me a lot of information about the different types of Chinese, literally Chinese, Asian Chinese, all kinds of types. This was my beginning understanding of the different levels of the Chinese, actually.
Mm, thank you. And did you feel a little bit nervous at the beginning to communicate
No,
with the local people or Chinese people at that
no,
time?
I felt very at ease actually. For me, if you study in the place where is the local language, it's very easy to, if you're open-minded, you just go and you just talk. It was not difficult at all. For me, the Chinese language is not so difficult actually. I don't know why.
It's a very
Mhm.
interesting experiences.
Yes.
And mm, You mentioned in the book your major transition from philosophy to international relations to Chinese
Yes.
culture was quite a leap. You also made the challenging decision to give up staying in the US. For our audience today, interested in China but hesitated to take the first step, could you share with us how did you convince yourself to make such a significant change and firmly choose Chinese culture?
Yes, sure. For me, everything is just in your heart. If you follow your heart in all of your decisions, then maybe this is what you have to do. This is what really is supposed that you have to do in this life. It's, I will say, this is kind of destiny, because both my education in China and the US gave me excellent opportunities to grow up, to learn more, to improve, and also to realize that actually what I'm um, really makes me more interested is actually the Chinese culture. That's why even in the West, when I was in America studying at
Mhm.
Stanford, I at one point of time I realized that really this is what impresses me most. I realized that China, that I am actually only on the surface of this great wisdom and civilization. I just understand only the surface, very little. And the more I learn, the more I read, the more I study, and the more I talk with the professors, the more I realize that this is what I want to do. That's why after I graduated from Stanford,
Mm.
I also got my green card. It was
Yes.
very easy. Somehow I had opportunities to work in the United Nations, in Europe, but I decided to give up everything and to go back to Bulgaria and work with my mother uh, to um, to spread Chinese culture. I realized that this is really the best I can do in my life, and I really think that this is true. What I did is really the best. It's what I should do.
Okay. And you also mentioned that you are interested in Chinese medicine, right?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
because yeah.
When do you find it very useful?
The Chinese medicine. I
Yeah.
had opportunities in Beijing to meet some of the greatest scholars of Chinese medicine, like Fen Lida. Fen
Mhm.
Lida, she's a professor, she's a general in Beijing, very famous one, who had she did very interesting research about Chinese medicine, treating different difficult diseases. And we met several times. We participated in some meetings, and she said, "You in the West, the people really don't understand well the Chinese medicine, how good it can be. That this is the medicine of the future." And I found out that she's true, because she showed me so many cases of people, even
Mhm.
with cancer, who got better, and the results were amazing. I mean, they were without any problem. They were healed.
Okay. And thank you very much. With your rich educational background in both China and US, which kind of educational style between the two countries do you prefer and why? What you also mentioned in the book, you go to the university in Beijing and both US. Could you
Yes.
compare the educational style between them?
Yes, maybe the best education is something between both in the West and China. In China, you learn a lot from the professors, but
Mm-hmm.
there is a lot of memorizing, which actually is exactly the opposite in the West. You don't memorize, but you just talk, you just discuss. So in Stanford, the professor will give you a lot of books to read at home, and then after 1 week you have to show up and you have to talk about the book. What is your impressions? But actually, I didn't enjoy much listening what my schoolmates will say about the book. I would rather prefer what the professor thinks, because he's more knowledgeable, he's more experienced. So this is what you can have in China, in Peking University. So I would say both places, both education systems has their pros and cons.
For pros and cons, but for yourself, for your own experience, which one do you prefer?
Mm, I think maybe still the Chinese system is better. I will say
Okay,
that.
thank you. You are
It's
enjoy
true.
the Chinese education system. And
Yes, because I
so,
could really study much more. It's more related to to my research. For example, when I was in Peking University, I
mm-hmm,
could study even I Ching, which is very profound knowledge. And it was the lectures were attended by more than 1,000 Chinese students,
mm-hmm,
which was amazing. I mean, you can really learn much more profound things about China in China, not in the West.
yes.
Of course, in the West, you have the comparison, you have really excellence of research, which
Mm-hmm.
also should be mentioned, but I think I still prefer to learn in China. I think the Chinese capacity and the profoundness of the research and the whole and the scholars there, it's just really amazing.
Okay, thank you. Let's change our topic to another area.
Yeah.
You've traveled a lot and have been to various cities in China. You also mentioned it. Is there any a difference in your experience as a tourist compared to living in a city? What identity do you prefer to explore China?
I would say that both are very good. Um, I would prefer maybe the identity of a scholar.
Mm-hmm,
Why? Because then I could travel, I could be staying in maybe in a university surrounding, or I can even live in a city and meet with a lot of scholars, Chinese scholars, foreign scholars who are in China,
mm-hmm,
discuss, continue my research. I can go to libraries, I can go to friends and talk with them. I think this type of research is very needed and very appreciated. But of course, I also prefer to live in China and be there as an ordinary person, just an ordinary person who can talk with ordinary people. It's also
mm-hmm.
very enjoyable, and you can still learn about a lot of things in China. It's amazing. It's a wonderful experience. It's very natural because the Chinese people are very open-minded, very relaxed, and it's just wonderful.
Okay, it's quite fascinating. During your time in China, did you ever think about issues of identity? Considering your cultural identification and fluency in the language, did you sometimes wish that your Chinese friends would perceive you as a local?
Yes, I had many interesting experience about that. I was with two of my Bulgarian friends in a taxi in Beijing,
Mm-hmm,
and sometimes I would talk to my friends in Bulgarian. Sometimes I would talk to Chinese to the driver, to the taxi driver, and
mm-hmm.
suddenly this driver will say, "Wow, your Bulgarian language is really good. When did you
Yes,
learn it?" So
you're quite fluency in language. You're quite fluency in Mandarin as a
yes, he
foreigner.
was thinking that I'm local. Even actually, many Chinese sometimes when I'm in China, when I walk, they'll sometimes they say even if I don't see your face, I would think that you're Chinese, and I take this as as really as a compliment.
Yes. We want to talk about something about your book, The Journey in the Magical China.
Yes.
Is it finished now?
Uh, I already published the first book, The Journey of the Magical China. And this book was published 2 years ago. It was the first book of my series of books about China, about the Chinese cities and
Mm-hmm.
culture. The first book was about Suzhou and also Yichang, these two cities. And I try to combine to put together information about the culture, about the history, about
Mm-hmm.
the everything about that is related to this city, particular city, which also has given me some impressions. I also write about stories that happened to me, to my friends while visiting Suzhou. And right now I am working on a project which is together with New Star Press. Nina Ding, you know Nina Ding, she's from New Star Press. She's actually now here in Sofia.
Uh-huh.
Nearby, I will see her tomorrow.
Yes, she
Nina,
told
if you're here,
me.
hi.
She already said to me.
Yes, and I really enjoy working with New Star Press and with all these other Chinese friends who helped me to work on my books on China. My new project is a book about Hangzhou. Hangzhou, it's one of the cities which I enjoy most. I have been there many times, and I want to write about contemporary Chinese writers, ancient Chinese people who has lived in Hangzhou, about some stories that happened to me in the city, and yeah, a lot of talk about. There's so much to share, so much I want to tell my readers about China.
I hope to read your book
Thank
also.
you.
And there is a question about the cities. You are all ready to make Suzhou as the start of your book, right?
Yes.
And it is really good to understand because Suzhou is quite famous in China. But you also mentioned you do choose Yichang for do the comparison,
Yes.
right? But it's not major city like Shanghai or Beijing. Although it holds significant, but it's neither a huge city nor as famous as Shanghai or some big
Yeah.
city, you know. But this place is my hometown. I'm really happy that you could recommend it to the world. But I have a curious about what made you notice Yichang because it's really a small city.
Yes, it has some wonderful stories that happened in the city, and also I write about the history. I'm doing a lot of research. Although I know a lot already, I had a lot of stories. I met a lot of interesting people, but I still do a lot of research for my books. And I even have some advisors, like the book now which I'm writing about Hangzhou. I have several wonderful advisors from scholars who live in China, the Chinese scholars, and I'm very grateful for them because they correct me sometimes if needed. I really, when I write, I want every word to be correct. This is responsibility, and it's also to give the best information, the most useful information, the most interesting part of some small details of the history and like the life in Hangzhou.
Okay. And thank you for so much for sharing your insights. And next, we are talking something for normal life. And
Yes,
when you in China, which food do you like favorite? And
the food.
any some special dishes you like the most? The most
Um,
give you the most good taste.
well, we can talk so much about food because I like doing research about food and
Okay,
Chinese food especially.
it's my
I
pleasure.
even also I'm writing now one book in Bulgarian about the medical properties of foods
Mm-hmm,
according to Chinese medicine, and I give citations from Asian sources to
mm-hmm,
make it more understandable, more interesting. Yeah, what kind of food I like? I like all these vegetables, including lotus root. I like yams, the Chinese yam xiaoyao. I will love. I'm sure that
it's also
everyone.
one kind of vegetable.
Yes, of course, but it's not. You cannot see it here in Bulgaria or in
Yeah.
Europe. I think it's very rare. Also, what really I think everybody, all foreigners, not only Chinese but also foreigners, including
Mhm,
me, love in China is the dumplings. The dumplings in China are really wonderful. I because I lived also in Beijing for quite a while, many years. I don't know, 7, 8 years. The Chinese cuisine is also something that I like. Even the home food, it's excellent. It's wonderful. The breakfast, everything is so much varieties of foods you can try in China. Even my friends, when I took them to China, I
Mhm.
had some friends who were vegetarians, and they say, "Oh, what are we going to happen? What are we going to do now in China? We are vegetarians. There is no food to eat." And I say, "Are you kidding me? Let's go to a local, just normal restaurant." And I took them and they tried. I gave them I choose more than 20 different vegetarian dishes.
Mhm.
And my friends were so amazed. They said, "Wow, you cannot have these foods in other countries, such a variety, so many different tastes and flavors." So yeah, China is maybe the best country where people can enjoy and eat not only eat variety of food but also healthy food. It's amazing. It's really. I have been traveling to many countries. For example, in Thailand, in other Vietnam, they also have variety of wonderful dishes and foods. But I think in China, what you can really experience is the variety. It's really amazing quantity of different tastes and ways of making food. So yeah, this is maybe China is number one country in the world for eating. That's why 以食为天嘛，民以食为天。
Yes, of course. And I think Chinese people takes cooking or the food as quite serious things
Yes,
through their
yes,
life, right?
yes. It's important. Yeah, it's
Yes, you
important
can.
for health. It's part of
Ha
our healthy lifestyle. Mhm.
have you ever have a taste of you stay in Beijing, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any taste of the toast dog?
Yes. Yes.
Do you
Yes. I
think it's
did.
good taste?
I think it's a little bit greasy, but it's okay. I think for foreigners it's good. What I noticed that many foreigners find out when they visit China is that the eggplants, the Chinese just homemade eggplants, they found it very delicious. That's what many people told me. And what I myself like a lot is the jiajiamian, the
Oh,
noodles in
you like
Beijing style.
noodles?
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, Thank you for so much sharing your insights. Now, due to the time limit, let's check out the questions from our audience. You can chat it in the chat box. There is an audience named Bonnie said to everybody, it's, "Hi Anna, you have deep connections to China. Could you each discuss the change you've observed among the expatriate community here over the years?"
Hi, Bonnie. This is
That's
an
some
excellent
opinion.
question,
Yes.
but it's something that I haven't actually maybe um, thought about that much. Maybe because
Okay. It
I'm
doesn't
more
matter.
focused about the
Just
Chinese community,
talk it.
about but not the expats. When I'm in China, yes, I have a lot of friends, even with students of my classmates, my from different countries who are now already became excellent sinologists in their own countries. We still continue communication, but I don't. I'm really didn't thought much about this kind of question about this issue.
Okay. And is that means you have a lot of Chinese friends?
I do. I have
Yeah.
friends from all around the world, and I really cherish all these relationships, friends, because it's wonderful to communicate
I
and
feel
to
so
share.
grateful that you love China.
Yes.
The next question is, hello Anna, what are your upcoming plans or projects related to China? As I know, and you are in Bulgaria right now, right?
Yes,
Do
yes.
you have any plans to come to China recently?
I really wish I could come to China. I really feel like I want to stay somewhere like at least for 1 month or 2 months, or
Mm-hmm.
even it's more the better. The more the better, because I want to continue to
We
do
hope to
my
see you in
research in
China
the
as
field.
well.
yes, it's important for my research, actually, for my books also. Like sometimes I want to check something, I want to go to a museum, I want to go to a library, I want to visit my friends in China, I want to go to my favorite places. So if it's about my work, yes, I really hope, but I still haven't found my way to do that. Besides traveling, which is not deep enough. It's not the best way. It's not enough just traveling. It's the best way is just to go to live in the local community or in a university, stay there for a while and do my research. What my plans are, I want to do several new books. One of the book is about the healing China, about the foods, the healthy properties of foods according to Chinese medicine. It's a more deep kind of research. This is one of the books. The second book, which I'm finishing soon, is about Hangzhou, which is
Just
together with
mention
the
it
Star Press.
and give us
Yes.
a brief introduction already.
Yes, and there in the future, I also want to write about Beijing, about maybe some the mountains of China. They're also very interesting. I have many books in my mind. I want to do that a lot. Yes, and to continue to publish books about China because I have a publishing house here in Bulgaria. I also plan to translate my books which are in Bulgarian. I want to translate them into English. In fact, many friends from other countries, they are waiting for these kind of books. They say, when can I read them in English? Even there, I have some friends who are in Belgium, in France. They are ready to publish them in French after that. But first, I need to translate them into English. So I have a lot of work to do.
I hope to read your books recently one by one. And
Thank you so much. Yeah.
thank you for your answer. Does Dawn and Bonnie satisfied with the answer from Annie? Okay, our time together is running short. We've had a wonderful session today. Thanks to Anna, shared her incredible experiences. And to discover more details about her story, dive into the book. We're foreigners who've studied, worked, and lived in China, share their unique perspectives, experience, and insights, showcasing China's development and openness from a distinct viewpoint. There is so much to explore. Here is the link of the book named I Grew in China. If you want to do the purchase, you can find it from it. I will type this link into the chat box. If audience interested in the book, you can buy it from it. And thank you all again. Thank you, Anna, today. And goodbye. Hope to see you all next time. Thanks for your sharing.
Thank you so much.
A great pleasure to chat with you.
It was my pleasure too. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you and bye. That's all. Bye.
Bye, and greetings to all friends who joined also. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye.